You're good.
Okay, thank you. Okay, welcome. My name is Dale Dzelski. I'm the program director for the online software engineering program information session. Today is March 12th, Tuesday, and I have online with me our admissions coach, Ian Clayton, as well as two of our recent alumni, um, Isaiah Fingers and Brandon Holloway. They're both sharing the same Zoom connection. So our agenda today is listed here, and basically list of several questions that usually we get about the program early on in our process with working with prospective students. So, some and many are asking, is this really even necessary? Why should I look for a master's of science in software engineering? And many of you may already have their answers while you're exploring and here today in the information session. Also, what is our program specifically about? Because all the programs out there are a little different. And then our faculty, usually when you're looking at a master's program, no matter what it is, you want to look and see who you're studying under and what their background is. Where can you find more about us and what's required to be accepted? Also, how to apply and where our classes are offered at. And of course, when you can begin, that's a very important part. And there are differences in different programs and how that process is. And also the expectations of the program. Once you complete the program, what's your expectations of how it impacts your career and growth as a professional? And then, of course, throughout, you're welcome to ask questions in chat. There's also a Q&A area, and please feel free to do so, as well as we'll have a QA session at the end. So let's start off with why earn an MSSC? Well, there are several reasons. Pay is rather good for really any career usually starting in the 69, going up to even 180 plus, depending on your advancement and also industry that you happen to be in within software engineering. Your job security, there's a projection basically in the next 10 years that we're looking at a growth rate of 25%. So there will probably be, pretty certain to say, always be jobs out there in this field. Advancement positions, most individuals for advancement into management with a master's flexibility. Our program does allow flexibility, usually within 2 years or less, you can achieve part-time, taking classes 2 at a time each semester for 3 semesters a year and complete the 10 required courses. Also, we allow you to come in and out of this as well as take one class if you need to cut back. Also, the best value. This is important because you want to always get the best value out of anything you're looking at doing and trying to spend your dollar and to gain an education. You want to get the best education you can, dollar for dollar, and we offer that. So why earn a MSSC from WVU? First off, I'll open this up and you can kind of read the slides. We'll also send these to you, and you can see one of our alum, Brian Collins, had given a quote about his ability to find a position, and he's currently a technical director at Amazon out of Pittsburgh area, overseeing their artificial intelligence development. And so Isaiah, and we'll start with you if you want to answer that from your perspective and experience.
So after completing this program, I now am pretty much the technical lead on a DoD project here in Fairmont, West Virginia. But yeah, this program helped me out a lot with moving up in such a short amount of time.
Excellent. And Brandon, you want to share some of your experience there?
Yeah, so what I found really valuable about the program was filling in some gaps that I had recently. So I've been here at my current job for coming on 3 years this summer. And some of these classes, such as project management and stuff, is stuff that I wouldn't have had access to quite yet in my career. And my undergrad didn't touch on that stuff. So being able to dip my toes in that gave me kind of a head start against some of my peers that don't have this master's. And there's classes like that that really broaden your horizon, I would say. So extremely valuable.
Okay, excellent. Thanks so much. Um, and you can see basically our program is one of the top ranked, and that's part of the reason we are classified by in the number 12, their best online, as well as most affordable number 3. And the next is, what is the MSSC? So we're made up of 30 graduate credit hours, 5 of which are core, and so they are required to be taken. And then when we're able to offer, we have some flexibility in being able to choose between the additional advanced courses. We have to have 5 of those. So it's basically follows, the core basically follows the software development lifecycle. And then the remaining courses build off of those foundations and usually branch into more detail about a specific area within software engineering. Before we move on there, I'd like to open it to Isaiah and Brandon. Brandon, do you want to start and kind of spotlight a couple courses? You'd already mentioned project management.
Right. So yeah, some of these core classes are really key, right? You have software evolution, object-oriented design. Maybe you hadn't been exposed to that much in your undergrad. So these classes really help elevate you to the next level and get you that experience before you're on site working and then run into these issues. And it's a lot easier to jump into some roles that you haven't been previously accustomed to with this extra background. One of my favorite classes was with Brian Warner, actually, with Advanced Computer Networks. So I'm by no means a network engineer, but sometimes I'm called upon to do simple tasks and stuff. And classes like that made it cut a 2-day problem to a 2-hour problem. And being able to go back, I still have my notes I still look at and my project I did. So classes like that are very valuable. So um, I mean, we have, yeah, secure software. Um, Reuse software was another one of my favorite ones that has kind of helped me design and make my code I do now better.
Isaiah, you have specific couple favorites that you want to highlight?
I think Brandon said it pretty good. But some that did help me here is the enterprise architecture class, which Dr. Zell, you teach the networking class with Dr. Warner, as well as the program management classes. Those have all helped me greatly in things I was not exposed to in undergrad.
You want to share just a couple pointers or insight from the enterprise architecture frameworks? I won't quiz you.
Put me on the spot, huh? It gave me a perspective of something I'm not used to. We don't, what we do here is not enterprise based, you could say. But the framework methodology and stuff that is taught in that class is a very good understanding. It can help you in many different ways. And even if your field is not maybe oriented to that type of framework, this understanding can help you.
Okay, excellent. Thanks. So you can see we have a variety of courses that get into specific topics, advanced areas that many alumni have moved on and actually focus their careers. We have a recent student who is Lockheed Martin, and they now desire to move into the quality area of software engineering. And we also have one that was not able to come and speak today, but Amanda Santiago works for Northrop Grumman, and she's now been advanced to a systems architect, and partly due to some of her experience in the architect course. So next here, you can read, and I don't need to go through the details here, but obviously we have a diverse faculty. And one thing we offer unique from some of the other top programs similar to ours in the nation is many actually have all tenured faculty or faculty that are teaching full-time at their university, teaching the courses. We actually have a blend of subject matter experts that are in the field working as vice presidents, executive director, chief architects, and chief technologists throughout, and project program managers. And myself, having over 25 plus years in the field, is a project manager and program director. So we bring in those experiences to the course, and of course our research faculty are invaluable as well. They bring years of experience in research within the field and within the industry, and provide a rather in-depth experience and breadth. So it's a great blend of faculty. I'd like to open it up again to Brandon and Isaiah. Isaiah, you want to go first this time, and just spotlight any of the specifically things that jump out at you, some of the professors that you were able to experience in them.
So as Dale mentioned, the experience that the faculty bring to the table is tremendous. He has all the experience from program management and project management. There was a professor who was 60 or 60 years into the business, who taught used to run the program management courses. He brought excellent experience, and from the old Apollo missions. It was great to see the experience of how things were done in the early days. There is a professor who works for NASA, and it's really eye-opening to see their processes and how they do day-to-day work and how it differs from the private sector.
Yeah, like everybody's been saying, the diversity in the backgrounds. One that comes to mind was our professor for software reuse, which Isaiah is gonna have to remind me of his name.
Greg.
Oh, Monday. Yeah. So he works at a startup now. So our classes would go the allotted time, and then people like him would stick around, and I would ask him questions about my work and other classes I had and experience he's had. And I feel like he really helped me a lot, kind of understand and kind of hash out more of my career plan. And then going back to people like Dr. Warner, who have experience in networking and security and, quite frankly, everything in between. So having those resources at hand, and professors that are willing to take an extra 10 minutes after class to discuss things with you, regardless if it's about class or another class or your career as it is now, and stuff like that. So all those people, it felt like they all had my back, and I was able to approach any of them with anything I had on my mind.
Excellent. Yeah, and Greg Mundy teaches the Agile development course, as well as has a course focused on software reuse. And although you may not see that in the list, as I mentioned, we have some plan to roll in once our enrollment increases more. We're able to add additional courses. We will. So where can you find more about us? And this is kind of the domain where you begin is with actually Anne, and that's kind of her area of expertise in helping you sort of start the process. And so I'll turn this over to her right now. Anne, go ahead.
Thanks. So one of the things that the software engineering program uses is Coursera. So this is the link that you would go through to get your information and to apply for admission to the program, and it has all the details. You can get it from the West Virginia Online University website as well, but this is nice and neat. It's got everything in one place. Anything else you want me to add on?
Yeah, thanks. No, that's great. And we'll have another slide here. Next is our, what is the requirements for admission, and also can help you with that.
Sure. So the general admissions, you would complete an application through the website. We do want you to submit a personal statement as well. And one of the things with this statement is, we don't want it to be just kind of a repetition of your resume. Really, we want it to be, what your reasons for choosing this program at this point in your life and this time. So kind of more expand on your resume and more of the why aspect to it versus just kind of showing us your history, but how it can be applied to what you want to do. You will need 2 letters of reference, and those can go after your application is submitted or along with it. You would just put the recommender's initial information on the application, and then we'll send the formatting to them. They will come directly from the recommender. You won't have to get the letters and then submit them. And then academic or professional references can be used depending on your work history, your education history. Either of those can be used. And then international students will have to do the language proficiency as well. And then if you don't have a degree in a computer science or related field, one of the courses that you would have to take would be that 505 programming applications course, in addition to the degree requirements.
Okay, excellent. And I noticed there was a question out in our Q&A. Sadie asks, is it a free course or covered by financial aid? And that there is not, because this isn't a full-time program, there is not financial aid like when you would be on campus type of course. We do have loans, that type of financial aid. So, but there isn't like grants and scholarships usually available to this program. There is military assisted type programs, but Anne, you could probably speak more, a little more about a few of those things, but the 505 does cost the same amount of credit, cost $7.15 right now, as the other per credit, as the other courses. However, it does not count towards the 10 required courses.
So with the financial aid, there is a link. Students are eligible to apply for grants, scholarships, loans through FAFSA. And I can certainly send that link to any students that need it. But it would be through the federal application process. As Dale mentioned, there's no, scholarships or waivers or anything like that for the online programs, but you're certainly able to apply for FAFSA for the degree. That's definitely an option that a lot of students will use, as well as tuition reimbursement too. If you're working, sometimes it's worth having the conversation with your employer to see if they have any tuition reimbursement, and then you can work through those details as well. But that would be another option a lot of our students use, is if they're working in the field, they can sometimes get that as well to kind of offset some of those tuition bills. And then I saw want to go to the next slide? Okay, so when you're applying, there is a couple things to be aware of, that there are two categories that you can meet to be admitted into the program. So this is what you really want to pay attention to when you're going through that Coursera site and looking through the application process. There's category A, and this is for students that have a bachelor's degree either in computer science, computer engineering, software engineering, or something very closely related to that field. We'll obviously need your transcript showing your degree, and then looking at your GPA, you must have a 3.0 or higher on a 4.0 scale to be able to use that. You'll submit the GRE test results unless you have a 3.5 or higher GPA. So the 3.0, you still need the GRE, 3.5 or higher, then you wouldn't need the GRE as long as you graduated from an accredited university. So, and again, getting your official transcripts, we can look at that and make sure that you're on the right track for that. You'll need a resume that reflects both your education and your work experience. And then again, those 2 letters of recommendation from either the academic or the personal person in your life. Very simple. So option B is just a little bit different. This would be for students who have a bachelor's degree in a field that's not necessarily computer science or computer engineering based. Again, the 3.0 still stands as the minimum GPA requirement. You will not need a GRE test for this as well, but you will need your resume that shows your education and 1 or more years of work experience with the software development lifecycle. So this one has a little bit more of the work experience in it. And then again, the same 2 letters of recommendation, these both being more of a professional to kind of speak to your work history and your professional side of it versus more of the academic side, obviously. Any questions on either of those?
So there was a question related to acceptance rate, and our US News and World Report, if you go out to that and look about, there's several detailed statistics out there on our 13th ranked list under computer information technology graduate programs online. And it's 81% as of last year. Now, keep in mind that our admission coaches, Ian and Ruben, who's not able to join us, work really hard to work with and understand what your career goals are and what your plans are and what your background is, and if you'll you know, it'll work out for you in this acceptance process. So we work really hard with you up front so that we don't have a high rejection rate and denial rate. So our acceptance rate is at 81%, which is pretty high compared to several others out there. I think that's another good thing about our program as we work with a diverse group of progressive professionals that come into our program, making it a great program overall, because it's another comment that we get about our students and alumni is that they still stay in contact with those that they've graduated with or worked through the program with. Of course, Brandon and Isaiah don't have a choice because they're working in the same company. So we've kind of addressed this, but Ann, you want to?
Sure. So once you're ready to apply, you would go to the online link, the WVU online, and then the master's obviously of software engineering. And there's a little blue, yep, there's it. He's moving the cursor to it, the apply now button through the web page. So you would apply directly through the website once you're ready. And then once you do that, then it'll start the email train of, okay, now submit your transcripts and now submit this. And so we'll kind of have a running idea of what you need to submit. Myself and Ruben can kind of keep track of that and remind you to submit the letters of recommendation or kind of let you know where you are in the process or what you're missing. But that would be your next step, is to click that little blue apply now button and start with the basic information and get everything enrolled through there.
And you can see here the May 13th is when our we begin. And if you want, you could put out on chat the actual dates for the early admission and so forth for summer.
Sure, let me grab
And
those.
715 is the tuition mentioned there as well. Also, there's a question about financial aid, and the link off of this will take you there. Also, I think financialaid.wvu.edu will URL will also get there. So where do you take classes? That's actually a Q&A question that someone just asked. And Coursera, we just recently partnered with about a little over a year ago, to carry our platform. We did have an in-house platform that the program was on, and it's their WU Online has a lot of information just about services that we offer at WU for online students, and that's what that link takes you to. However, our program is through Coursera.org, and you basically use your WVU email that's given to you once you've been admitted to enter into our program. So even if you have another account using a Gmail or some other type of email, you would not use that to take this program on Coursera. But if you're familiar with their platform, it is similar in nature. However, the master degree courses do have live Zoom sessions such as this for the interacting with the instructor. And perhaps Isaiah or Brandon, or both of you, would like to kind of share briefly about your experience with the technology prior to, I realize you may not have experienced all of Coursera since we've been through that transition and moving, but just some of the things that we offer in registration, and those things are WU systems as well.
You may go. So I guess most of us by now are probably pretty used to online work. So being able to take classes online was pretty seamless. Like you had mentioned, we're not familiar with Coursera yet. We were on Blackboard still, or some other service that was online, but everything was really easy. The instructors have the home pages laid out where you have assignments, that week stuff. And if you do struggle with it, all the instructors were more than happy to help you and accommodate you and help you find class resources and anything you needed to do. Some of the best things about this is that all my classes were online and after work. So I was still able to do my normal job, and then I was able to get off work and go home and get ready for class and stuff like that, which made it very easy for me to be able to work and take classes at the same time. And I wasn't, struggling to run up to Morgantown to get on campus or anything like that. Being online made it very seamless.
Yeah, as Brandon put it, we didn't use Coursera in this program just because we were still on Blackboard, but most people have used Blackboard. I'm sure Coursera is very similar, but the classes are laid out very well and easy to find and organize well. WVU also has their registration tools on the WVU portal. It's a very easy tool if you're not familiar with WVU's system for registering for classes, creating schedules, viewing your grades, viewing your account balances, your tuition balances, as well as any other student information. Everything's hosted on one website for that stuff, and it makes it very seamless to navigate and find what you need and be successful.
Okay, excellent. Thanks so much for your insights on that. Obviously, from an instructor standpoint, we have, utilized these tools for years, and I can tell you my experience, but it's great to have Isaiah and Brandon here to share from their experiences. So when do you begin? And Anne, you can go ahead and address this.
Sure. And I did just put the registration and the link to the important dates in the chat as well, so students can have that link directly. So where do you begin? Hopefully after this presentation, you're ready to apply. So if you go and you click that little apply now button in the corner of that website, like we talked about, you can start the admissions process and get that going. Once we get all of your application information, and there will be a list that you can see what you still need to complete and what's been completed. But generally, students are notified within 2 to 4 weeks of your application being complete. You'll get an email notification that you've been admitted, and also it will show up in your portal as well. So you'll kind of see it in both places there. And then with the program, you can do a fall start, you can do a summer start, you can do a spring start. So depending on your time frame, what you're looking for, you can kind of work with Dale and kind of figure out a plan of what your plan of study will look like. But you can start really whenever you're ready. Generally, we'd like your application in about 4 to 6 weeks before the semester starts, or at least the application started. That way we can go through all the things that you need to do, all the orientations, all the, kind of checks and balances. But yeah, you can start at any time that you feel like you're ready to.
So we do have a question regarding the program delivered on campus. And no, I do realize some do a hybrid type delivery of their courses and programs. We do not in this program. It's fully 100% online, and the instructors could be anywhere in the world, similar to the students when they come online and present. But a good portion is asynchronous of the courses. So it's a large portion is, as Isaiah had mentioned, is online. You load your responses online. There's discussion board posts as well, and so forth. Let's see, is there another question? I think that was there. So the next thing is your expectations, and it's important up front. And I have had students that were interested in the program, and I talked to them and realized that really what they were expecting out of this program, our program was not going to provide to them. So, most I guess if you want to consider, I don't consider myself a salesman, but when you're selling a program or selling any product, I personally want to make sure that the person gets what they want or what they're looking for, and that they are not have different expectations. So I think it's very important to make sure up front before you enter the program and spend your energy, time, and which is the most important thing, but also other resources, financial and other, to accomplish this, but then not have the results that you are expecting. I know Isaiah had already mentioned, and Brandon, some of the results that they've experienced in their career from this program. And you can see basically the 6 premise or program outcomes that we describe in our program, and we expect that you will experience. Also, we have a great career services program here at WVU, and a great team that will help assist you if you're in transition, as well as alumni network. And I already mentioned a little bit about that. Brandon, Isaiah, do you want to speak to some of these outcomes, identifying, analyzing client needs, how the program has helped you fine tune and precision your professional walk in software engineering?
As we mentioned earlier, there was talking back to like the software reuse classes. That kind of like falls with bulletin number 2, implement and create software-based solutions. Here we use a lot of reuse from between our projects. So the classes like that were very beneficial and helping our understanding and better our reuse here as a personal betterment and as a company bettering the company as a whole. Yeah.
Yeah. So one of my biggest program outcomes is helping me be present in conversations such as, like I've mentioned, program management and project management and stuff. Before, I had no idea the terms they were talking about and where they were coming from, but that class really helped me understand the basics, of course, nonetheless. I'm not going to write you a full project proposal by memory or anything like that, but being able to have conversations with people I wouldn't have otherwise been able to. And that goes with almost every class. I mentioned networking. I know the terms and stuff now, and I could get myself there eventually. I'm not a network expert now, but it's really laid good groundwork for me to be able to use outside resources and build upon that further and further.
Okay, excellent. Thanks so much for your both your insights in this area. And yeah, this is very important to me because I like to see the success in our program is defined by people like Isaiah and Brandon and our other over 400 and some alumni. And so I definitely want to see us make an impact. And we do have several that have made advancements in their career and throughout their organizations that they're working or we're able to move as utilizing either career services or other means to move from where they're currently at into another path or industry within software engineering to advance their career. And sometimes you run into, yes. I did not catch that question, sorry. I apologize. Maybe if you put it in the Q&A or chat, I can answer further. You have some background noise, so causing some difficulty in me understanding your question. I do apologize. And next is really the Q&A time. If you do have questions, please feel free to ask. I also have contact information. If you would like to ask further questions of Isaiah or Brandon, I would like to welcome you to send the information to me, which I have my email here, and I'll make sure to route that to them, just because I'm not sure, how they would prefer to communicate in questions and so forth. Sometimes work does not always allow use of email other than for professional work purposes. Also, Anne information is here, and she's also available for a virtual session if you'd like to work with her on your process to collecting your information that you need or any questions that you might have that you feel the email might not work sufficiently. She has the ability to link there and set up a Zoom meeting with you. Also, Ruben also has his email offered as well if you have some questions there.
I did just put my email in the chat too, Dale. So if anybody has any questions that they need just a quick answer to, or just something we can do through email, feel free to reach out. And then if not, like Dale said, a virtual session, we can either do a phone or a Zoom, whatever you're comfortable with, and, get all your questions answered.
But I do encourage you to touch base with Ann or Ruben first, primarily because they are the point person for the mission coaching in that process. if if you have some additional questions about specifically in the program or other things, then they can route that to me, and I'd be glad to work with you and talk to you about it. There was one point that Ann made about your plan of study, and certainly what we encourage is those 5 core courses to be taken first, and they rotate. We have 2 offered in the fall and 2 in the spring, and then 1 in the summer. And so you would obviously take those, and the one in the summer, we also pair with one of the other advanced courses. So you can pick between 3 that's offered in the summer for that pairing of your first cycle for the first year. And then after that, you would just pick the advanced courses. Okay, well, at this point, I don't see any additional questions. I do want to thank each and every one of you for taking this time out of your afternoon or wherever you may be, time zone wise, for attending. And also, if just to let you know that those listening by video, reviewing the archive, you also are welcome to contact us and reach out to ask any additional questions. So thanks again. Extend a special thanks to Isaiah and Brandon for attending out of their time, and thank you, Ann, as well, for participating today. We'll see you all then hopefully in class in the near future. Have a great day and goodbye.